live in interesting times. Today's stories. Hong Kong protesters take protest to immigration offices. China hopes President Trump's letter to Kim can provide impetus for talk. Palestinians shun U.S. prosperity pledges despite financial woes. Iran says new U.S. sanctions won't have any impact. Iranian ambassador to Japan criticizes the U.S. nuclear deal retreat. Plus, speculations are circulating after a skydiving aircraft accident in Hawaii claimed 11 lives with no survivors. Hello everyone, I am Jennifer Polintan, bringing you stories from around the globe, and this is Eagle News, broadcasting from New York. Hundreds of young protesters take their protest over Hong Kong's controversial extradition bill to the city's immigration offices.
我哋好希望咧對政府咧進行一定嘅施壓，以至呢一個施壓咧讓政府聽到咧我哋嗰幾個訴求，以至到呢個訴求咧係政府能夠聽得見，因為政府咧睇嚟佢對於嗰個訴求咧係只係做道歉，但係佢完全冇任何嘅行動嘅。我哋嘅參與者咧其實係越嚟越團結，我哋都相信咧香港人由100萬人遊行、200萬人遊行咧，其實我哋創造咗好多歷史啊！咁我哋好相信咧團結集合嘅力量咧係會嚟到抵抗到唔公義。
China said Monday it will not allow discussion of Hong Kong at the G20 summit this week, even as President Donald Trump plans to raise the city's mass protests during his meeting with President Xi Jinping. The semi-autonomous city has been shaken by huge demonstrations this month, with protesters demanding the withdrawal of a bill that would allow extraditions to the Chinese mainland. Trump has weighed in on Hong Kong's worst political unrest since its handover from Britain to China in 1997, saying he understood the reason for the protests and hoped demonstrators can work it out with China. U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo later said Trump would discuss Hong Kong with Xi at the Group of 20 summit, which is taking place in Osaka, Japan on Friday and Saturday. But Chinese Assistant Foreign Minister Zhang Jun said the G20 is a forum to focus on global economic issues. Xi and Trump have agreed to hold bilateral talks focusing on the U.S.-China trade war during the summit. At a press briefing previewing Xi's attendance at the summit, Zhang said, quote, "I can tell you with certainty that the G20 will not discuss the Hong Kong issue, and we will not allow the G20 to discuss the Hong Kong issue." Noting that the city is a special administrative region of China, he said Hong Kong affairs are purely China's internal affairs, and no foreign country has the right to intervene. China's foreign ministry describes a letter from Donald Trump to Kim Jong-un as a positive interaction, which it hopes will encourage continued dialogue between the two sides.
中方始终认为，对话协商是解决朝鲜半岛问题的根本出路。我们希望朝美领导人之间的积极互动能够有助于巩固两国之间的接触势头，并为双方继续对话提供动力。国际社会普遍希望朝美能够谈下去，并且谈出成果。作为半岛近邻，中方愿与包括朝美在内的有关各方加强沟通协调，共同推动半岛问题的对话协商取得进展，为地区的和平稳定与发展繁荣作出积极贡献。屈冬玉副部长当选两种组织总干事，体现了各方对中方候选人能力的认可，对中国坚定支持多边主义、促进全球发展事业的高度赞赏，也体现了国际社会对中国农业农村发展成就的充分肯定。中方对此深表感谢。
Boxes of unsold biscuits are piled up in a West Bank warehouse, a sign of tough economic times faced by Palestinians who are determined not to be wooed by Washington's economic pledges. Boxes of unsold biscuits are piled up in a West Bank warehouse, a sign of tough economic times faced by Palestinians who are determined not to be wooed by Washington's economic pledges. Mazen Sinokrat, whose company produces foodstuff and a range of other goods, said money does not replace the dignity of our people and the justness of our cause. A former Palestinian finance minister, Sinokrat said he had been invited to a U.S.-sponsored economic conference in Bahrain this week, but declined.
في يعني الوضع الاقتصادي لحاله مستحيل وغير ممكن. نحن موضوعنا مع إسرائيل هو موضوع سياسي، وهذا واضح لنا وواضح للإسرائيليين وواضح للعالم أجمع. فبالتالي ولكن السياسة والاقتصاد في مفهوم القضية الفلسطينية والعلاقة التشابكية مع إسرائيل هي وجهان لعملة واحدة. أنا أعلنت رفضي بكل موضوعية وبكل شفافية، ولصاحب الرسالة الذي أرسل لي الرسالة قلت له أنا كنت دوما مشارك ونشيط في كل المؤتمرات والورشات التي تدعون لها المؤسسات الأمريكية المختلفة، ولكن أنا لا أشعر بارتياح بالمشاركة بهذه الورشة.
The United States aims to showcase its vision of the potential economic benefits to the Palestinians if, after decades of hostilities and failed peace initiatives, they were to agree a deal with Israel. But when the White House unveiled the financial details of the plan on Saturday, it was immediately rejected by the Palestinian government. Giving his reason for not attending the Mamana meeting, Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas said the economic situation should not be discussed before the political one, and as long as there is no political solution, we do not deal with any economic issues. Nearly all Palestinian business leaders are set to also boycott the conference, despite the hard financial conditions at home. At the Sinokrat's company's factory near Ramallah in the occupied West Bank, 2 of the 3 biscuit production lines have been switched off for the past month.
بالطبع تأثر الإنتاج نتيجة الوضع الاقتصادي بالسلطة الفلسطينية. يعني إحنا هون في المصنع عندنا طاقة إنتاجية ل 450 ألف حبة علي بابا باليوم. هلا إذا نيجي نترجمه على أرض الواقع، نص راتب للمواطن الفلسطيني يعني أثر على قدرته الشرائية. معنى آخر اللي كان يشتري علبتين علي بابا اليوم في راتبه يقدر يشتري علبة واحدة. أكيد أثر على طاقتنا الإنتاجية.
The economy in the Palestinian territories is flagging, with only minor growth in the West Bank last year and gross domestic product in the Gaza Strip declining by 8%. The World Bank recently described an unsustainable economic situation, with unemployment topping 30% across the West Bank and Gaza Strip. In the Strip, which has been under a crippling Israeli blockade for more than a decade, the jobless rate last year stood at 52%. Coming up, Iran says new U.S. sanctions won't have any impact. Iranian ambassador to Japan criticizes the U.S. nuclear deal retreat. Plus, speculations are circulating after a skydiving aircraft accident in Hawaii claimed 11 lives with no survivors. Eagle News will be right back. Welcome back. You are watching Eagle News. A spokesman for the Islamic Republic's Foreign Ministry said Monday the new economic sanctions that the United States is preparing to impose on Iran will have no impact. Abbas Mousavi said at a press conference in Tehran, quote, "We really do not know what the new sanctions are and what they want to target anymore, and also do not consider them to have any impact," unquote.
یعنی واقعا تحریمی مونده که ایالات متحده اخیراً یا در 40 سال گذشته علیه ملت ما و کشور ما عملی نکرده باشه و اگر عملی کرده چه دستاورد و نتایجی داشته. بنابراین ما این رو در راستای همون تبلیغات و پروپاگاندایی میدونیم که میخوان اثرگذاری کنن بر افکار عمومی داخلی و خارجی. این سفر انجام شد و ایشون اومدن ایران و دیدارهایی هم داشتن. دیدارهای نمیتونم بگم خیلی خوب، ولی خوب بود و حرفایی که زده شد قدری متفاوت بود. در چارچوب همین مسائل بیشتر منطقه بود و برجام.
Tensions between Washington and Tehran flared after Iranian forces on Thursday shot down a U.S. drone, the latest in a series of incidents including attacks on tankers in the sensitive Gulf waters. U.S. President Donald Trump on Friday called off a planned retaliatory strike at the last minute, tamping down the threat of military action. He said Washington would instead place major additional sanctions on Iran Monday. Last year, Trump unilaterally pulled the U.S. out of a landmark 2015 deal meant to curb Iran's nuclear program in exchange for sanctions relief. The U.S. has since imposed a robust state of punitive sanctions on Tehran designed to choke off Iranian oil sales and cripple its economy, which he now plans to expand. Trump, who has waged a maximum pressure campaign against Iran, has also said the U.S. is prepared to negotiate with the Islamic Republic with no preconditions. Hessamoddin Ashna, an advisor to Iran's President Hassan Rouhani, said Monday on Twitter, quote, "America's claim of readiness for unconditional negotiation is not acceptable with the continuation of threats and sanctions. We consider war and sanctions to be two sides of the same coin." Iranian ambassador to Japan, Morteza Rahmani Movahed, criticizes U.S. withdrawal from the nuclear deal.
خروج امریکا از برجام و اعمال تحریم‌های یکجانبه علیه ایران ثابت کرد که نظام حکومتی امریکا قابل اعتماد نیست. ما به کرات اعلام کردیم با هیچ کشوری از جمله امریکا قصد درگیری نظامی نداریم. ولی در مقابل هجوم و تجاوز آنها به شدت و قاطع دفاع می‌کنیم.
As the U.S. government takes the lead in an investigation into last Friday's airplane crash in Hawaii that killed 11 people with no survivors, speculations and opinions as to the cause of the accident are already circulating, especially by those who have experience with flying airplanes and even skydiving. Hawaii correspondent Mio Asenas with more.
When you're up there at, I believe, 10,000 feet, there's a lot of responsibility on the pilot, a lot of responsibility on the wellness of the plane.
With summer officially underway, Hawaii residents and businesses were looking forward to another busy and hopefully profitable tourist season. But first, they have to deal with a tragic accident involving a skydiving airplane that crashed here in the north shore of Oahu. At around 6:30 p.m. Hawaii time, a twin-engine plane known as a Beechcraft 65 King Air crashed after taking off in a grassy area near the edge of the Dillingham Airfield and Farrington Highway. Witnesses nearby said they saw an explosion and flying debris when the airplane hit the ground, while others far away as Haleiwa to the east said they could see a column of black smoke. The Honolulu Fire Department arrived at the scene and later put out the blaze. After evaluating the situation, Fire Chief Manuel Neves announced that there were no survivors and noted that family members of those on board were on the ground when the crash happened and may have seen the plane go down. Neves even described the event as one of the most tragic he ever experienced in his 40 years of service. At first, authorities estimated that 9 people perished in the crash. However, on the following Saturday morning, an official from the Federal Aviation Administration, or FAA, updated that their investigation showed 11 people on board. Most of them were employees of the Oahu Parachute Center, a skydiving company operating from the airfield. Hawaii's Department of Transportation indicated that the federal government was leading the investigation on the crash. By the time Eagle News arrived at the scene, representatives from the National Transportation Safety Board, or NTSB, were already at the crash site taking a first-hand look at the wreckage. 24 hours has passed since the accident, and as you can see, the flowers have already been offered here to pay respects to those who perished. We later spoke with Agassi, who is a licensed small airplane pilot, on the possibilities why the skydiving airplane came down that Friday night.
Most likely, I would assume engine failure during takeoff. And maybe they don't have any time to react. I don't know, because like during takeoff, you got a lot of things going on. You are monitoring your airspeed, you are talking to the radio, you are looking around if there's any traffic. It's multitasking on departure. So if that happens to you, then you gotta react quick.
We also spoke with Henry, who went skydiving with friends several years back at the same location of the accident. He shares his thoughts on what might have happened.
The experience of skydiving for the first time is one that you kind of have to force yourself to experience. No one really ever decides to go and say, you know, I want to go skydive today. This sounds like a fun thing. It's something you really put a lot of thought into, but it's one of those, you really just want to try it. To my recollection, there was very little interaction with the pilot. We were more prepared for the jump than we were for the actual plane ride, and if any precautions were needed for the actual flight itself. We were not given any introductions or any warnings or any, if something were to happen, we were not given any of that.
Several of the victims have already been identified by family and friends through social media. Meanwhile, Dillingham Airfield will be closed indefinitely, affecting other business establishments inside. To recall, a similar tragedy took place in December 1981 when the plane, also a twin-engine Beechcraft, crashed into the waters of Pearl Harbor, killing 11 people. The group of skydivers was planning to parachute into the Aloha Stadium. From the north shore of Oahu Island of Hawaii, I'm Mio Asenas, 1 with 25.
Thanks, Mio. Since this report was filed, the NTSB described this crash as the deadliest civilian airplane accident in the United States since 2011. Investigators also noted that the airplane in question already had a history of substantial damage involving another skydiving operation in California back in 2016. So far, the victims identified have included several instructors, at least 2 active duty service members, and a young couple from Colorado who is celebrating their 1-year anniversary. That is today's Eagle News. Join us tomorrow for stories that matter to you. Visit our websites at www.eaglenews.net and www.eaglenewslive.com. Follow us on twitter.com/EagleNewsPH and on Facebook.com/EagleNewsPH. Thank you for watching. I am Jennifer Pollentan, and I am 1 with 25.